This conference will now be recorded.
So last class we are discussing about how to create Linux machine by using SSH public, right? So just log into portal.azure.com. Just provide your username and password. So basically we can create some resource group. So maybe some Azure test. Next tags. If you want, you can provide the tags. Next review plus create. Click on create. So then basically we're creating some virtual network and followed by some sub network as well, right? So just select the resource group, whatever the resource group which you have created, and we are trying to create some VNet. Next IP address, then click on subnet, dot 11.1.0/24 on add, next security, next tags, next event create, finally click on create. So it is created. I mean virtual network and as well as subnetwork is created. So then need to create some virtual machine. So try to add the resource group, whatever the resource group which you have created. So I'm giving some name Linux machine 1. Okay. So just you can select this respective image and the size. So till now, if you observe, basically we have created by using password mechanism, right? So now we are trying to create by using SSH public by using. Okay. So provide some username Shiva1, use existing public key. So here you need to get key, some key, I mean some SSH key. So how to get that? So as we discussed, by using some putty generator. Okay, so you're going to get this putty generator whenever you're trying to install, or once if you install some putty software. So by default you're going to get some one more a software, or we can say that is sub software of a putty. So there is nothing but a putty generator. Type some putty generator. So basically this software is used to generate some SSH public keys which are unique. Basically click on generate. So it is created. So first of all, try to save this file. Save private key. Click on S. Desktop. It is some Linux machine 1. is complete public key on none. Next is go with standard SSD. Next networking. So next management. Here you need to choose basically whatever the virtual network and subnetwork which you have created all. Next management. Click on disable. Next advanced. Next tags. Next event create. Finally click on create. So it is created basically, right? So now if you go to this virtual machines, go to Linux machine 1, go to networking, try to add security role or add inbound portal. So what is inbound portal for SSH? So it is right port for putty, hello putty software on and click on overview. So whatever the IP address you have got it right. So copy this IP address, go to putty software, sorry, not putty software, paste it here. So if you observe, we have created this virtual machine not by using password mechanism instead of that SSH public key, right? So for this, go to this here SSH, go to authentication. So you need to browse the key, whatever the key which you have saved basically. So click on browse, provide this one. Click on open. Once again, click on open. Click on asset, right? So provide the username. So just it is going to authenticate. That's it. So it is authenticated. Okay. So this is the way how to create a virtual machine by using SSH
Hello.
mechanism or SSH public basically. Okay. So is these things are fine? Any doubts here? Any of you?
No, sure.
Hello.
No, sure.
Hello.
Yes. Your
Hello.
voice is not audible to me.
Am I audible? Hello.
No, it is very slow. think this is class 8, right? So basically in class 7, just we have created Linux solution by using SSH key or mechanism. So these things we have done, right? So now we're going to discuss about how to deploy or create so Linux virtual machine using nothing but
Hello?
command line interface. Basically.
Hello?
So here CLI of two types. So one is PowerShell and one more thing is shell scripting. Okay, one is by using PowerShell and one more thing is shell scripting. Basically. Okay, or we can say that this thing as a bash shell as well. Okay, so now within this, what we're trying to create. So one is anyway resource group. So second one is virtual network. Third one anyway subnet or subnetwork. Fourth one network network security.
Hello, Siva.
Yes,
So, one doubt actually. Uh, so while
yes.
creating the SSH key, how the user will get this? For example, if I want to send this key to the user to connect my IP to connect my EC2 instance, how can I send this?
I did not get you.
No, in real
What is your
time,
doubt?
I have how the SSH key will be sending to the users. I'm downloading in my system right now.
Mhm.
So how can I send that to my users normally through mail or?
You, you can send that whatever the I have saved this key on this my desktop, right?
Correct.
You can sell it. Sorry, you can send it. Maybe if you observe most of the offices, right? Most of the organization, they're having some common folder. That is the one way you can send it
Okay. Okay.
instead of mails. Okay.
Okay.
Mostly this public key we don't have. Generally, if you observe in our companies, so even now most of the companies they're going for some work from remote, right? So they're working from homes. So basically, if you observe, even though they are providing some laptop, that laptop is used to access only virtual machines. Okay. So instead of virtual machines, whatever the softwares or if you want, generally if you are developing some web applications, right? So what are the softwares which you require? So these all these things they are installing in that respective virtual machine, basically. Okay. So laptop is just to access that virtual machine. That's it. So how we have created some username password. These that the username password they want to provide it. That's it. Beyond that, they are not providing anything. Apart from that, but because of the security constraints, so they are installing some VPN as well as a virtual private network, basically. Okay. So this SSH public key mechanism, mostly we are not able to get it. Generally by using username password only. SSH public key, so mostly maybe some higher environments they may use. Okay.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
So one is network security group, and one more thing is network security rules, and availability set, and finally creating virtual machine. So here this network security group, just it is a group of security rules. So it is group of inbound and outbound rules. Logical group of virtual machine. Okay, so basically here, uh, if you observe till now, whatever the process which I have discussed, we have created some resource group, virtual network, sub network, and then followed by some virtual machine, basically, right? So if you observe, just we have logged into this respective portal, or portal.azure.com. So just we have created these all these things, or whatever the services which are utilized within this Azure cloud. So basically we have created by using graphical user interface, by using some GUI, right? But instead of creating these services by using graphical user interfaces, so we can create in n number of ways. Okay, basically till now we have seen it by using GUI. There is a one option basically if you want to create some virtual machine. So try to create resource group, virtual network, sub network, and then try to create some virtual machine. This thing you know by using some GUI till now. But instead of this GUI, so we can create these virtual machine or these things n number of ways. One more way is by using some shell scripting or bash shell. So this PowerShell, anyway, we are trying to learn in our upcoming classes. But this by using this PowerShell, very less companies they are using by using this PowerShell. Mostly they are going with some shell scripting or bash shell basically. Okay. Anyway, PowerShell also we're going to discuss in our upcoming classes. So currently, if you want to create these services, here I have mentioned 7 services, right? Basically, so these things. So instead of creating by using graphical user interface, so we are trying to create these services by using some shell scripting mechanism or bash shell mechanism, basically. Okay. So how to do that? We will discuss. Okay. And here I have mentioned uh, these concepts, right? So one is network security group, network security rules, availability set. Okay. So just I have mentioned some comments or some information. If you go for network security group, so just group of network security rules. So network security rule, group of inbound and outbound rules. This thing anyway, you know, is network security rule. So just we're adding some inbound port rule, right? That is nothing but network security rule. And here one more thing I have mentioned, available to set, nothing but logical group of virtual machines. So just a small statement, just I have mentioned for each and individual service or each and individual concept at this point of time. So in detail, we are going to discuss in our upcoming process. So what is exactly network security group, or what is the reason to go for network security group? So, and what is the reason to go for availability set? So in detail, we're going to discuss at this point of time. So just uh, you can keep these things in mind. So what is the network security group means? Just is a group of network security group. so available to set as well. So what these things are doing, or what is the reason to go for these all these things, we'll discuss later in our coming classes, maybe some 1 or 2 classes. Okay. So currently our major intention is, so just I want to create these services by using some shell scripting. That is the only thing. Okay. So how to create these things, so we'll discuss. So as I mentioned you, first of all, we require some bash shell. So basically, if you, most of the users, you know that. So if you go to Windows, if you type some cmd, we're getting some command prompt, right? This is nothing but a command prompt which is used in our Windows operating system. So like that, we're having some bash shell or a shell scripting in our Linux virtual machine, like in Linux virtual machines here, or Linux environment, what we can say that. Okay. So basically, how to get this bash shell? So basically, this bash shell which is available within the Azure cloud itself. Okay. So how to get this bash shell? So go to this portal.azure.com basically. So one way to get it is, so here if you observe, so it is saying some cloud shell, right? So you can click on it. So it is expecting you have no storage mounted. Means, so if you want to use, or uh, if you want to create some resources or create some services within this batch shell or a cloud shell, so first of all we need to have some storage, right? So that is nothing but it is expecting some storage. So you can create storage. This thing, just you can click on create storage. So it will create some storage automatically. Okay. And one more way is, so you can go to shell.azure.com if you want to get some batch shell. So this is the same. It is also exporting some storage account. Okay, some storage is required. So just click on create storage. So basically, if you falls under some free tier, so here you're going to get some free tier option basically. Okay, click on create storage. It will create some storage. So it is created, right? If you observe. So where we can check it, whether the so as I mentioned, we require some storage, whether the storage is created or not. So we can cross check it here. So go to this uh, resource group.
Siva, one doubt.
Yes, yes, you can ask it after the concept. Okay.
Ye- Okay.
So here, if you observe, it is having some cloud shell storage central India. So it is created within this location, central India region. Okay. So this is nothing but where it is created. So as I mentioned, it is required some storage, right? So once if we click on the storage option, or once if we click on the storage button, it is going to create some storage. So where you can observe this whether the storage is created or not, you can cross check it in resource groups. So it is created some cloud shell storage central India. So now we are able to utilize this bash basically. Okay. So whether this bash shell is working or not, okay, so just you can cross check it, just we can cross check it by using, so just you can type it as an agent, nothing but a Azure. So click on enter. So if you got something like this logo Azure, right? So it is fine, so it is good to go. Simply we can say that these are the inbuilt libraries what we're having, which is maintained by Azure. Okay, these all these things what we're calling as in libraries or inbuilt packages. Simply we can say that. Okay, so this is nothing but a CLI, or we can say that bash shell or shell scripting. Okay, so now so these are the commands. So if you want to create these respective services. Okay, so do we need to remember these commands? Okay, so it doesn't require first of all. So go to Google. So create or maybe some resource group. Okay, just I want to create some resource group using Azure CLI. So you're already having some Microsoft documents. So within this Microsoft.com. So these are the commands. So if you want to see it. So AZ is nothing but stands for Azure, you know. So group nothing but resource group. So just here we're having some inbuilt command called as in create. Okay. So AZ group. So within that they're giving some location, hyphen name, something. It is having some manager by subscription tags, right? So out of these things, so if you observe this square brackets, right? So this what are the square brackets which it is mentioned within this command. So these square brackets are optional. So it depends upon you. You can either you can mention, or if you don't want, so no need to mention these things. But these things, I mean location and this name, these are the mandatory. What we can say that. Okay. So if you observe this example, that is the reason they have mentioned location. L is stands for hyphen L is nothing but a stands for location. This N is nothing but a name. This is nothing but a my resource group. Something name, some name they have given. But they did not mention these things. Manager by subscription and tax, because the reason is these are the optional. If you want, you can, otherwise you don't. So here even they have mentioned here clearly. So these are the required parameters and these are the optional parameters basically. Okay. So just these are the commands. So if you want to create some service within this Azure Cloud account using CLI or bash shell. So if you want to delete some resource group, you can go with Azure group delete. So like that, what are the service which I have mentioned here? So what are the services which I have mentioned? For all these services, you are already having these predefined commands. So just based upon your requirement, just you can modify it. So I already have these commands here. These are the commands here basically. Okay. So creating a resource group. So if you want to create a resource group, AZ group create, which location you want to create. So hyphen L. So I want to create in East US basically. After that, what is your resource group name? Nothing but Azure test. Okay. So just copy this one. Go to this bash shell. Paste it here. So it is created. Okay. And here if you observe output of this command, if you observe this output of this command, this is the output, right? Basically. Okay, so this is nothing but JSON output. Okay, so if you are finding anything, so followed by some curly braces, right? So this is nothing but a JSON output here basically. Means, so let us assume you have executed some command. If you're getting some error or exception, right? So it is in the form of JSON. So that errors or exceptions are related to JSON. because we're getting some output as a JSON. That is the reason. Okay. So same way, if you want to create some ritual network, same thing. So how we are creating ritual network in user interface, same thing here also we are creating, but it is on command based or CLI based, what we can say that. Okay. So if you observe in virtual network how we are created, so we have given some resource group, or we have given some location, or we are creating, or we are mentioning some resource group, or sorry, virtual network name, right? And then we are creating some virtual network IP address. So these all these things we are creating, right? Same thing here, nothing difference. Only just we are mentioning in the comments. Okay. So if you observe AZ network, nothing but stands for virtual network. So what is our VNet name? So first here we need to mention your resource group name, whatever the resource group name you are already created. Okay, so here my resource group name Azure, that is the same thing which I mentioned here. After that, so your virtual network name, whatever the virtual network name you want to create. So here I have taken Azure test hyphen vnet1. So what is the address prefix? So you want. So if you observe while creating in GUI, so we are mentioning some IP address, right? So that is the same thing, but here we are providing by using comments. Okay. So slash is nothing but a, so if you want to give a command, or if you want to create something in a new line, so just you can go for slash. So otherwise you can continue after this if you want. Okay. So then we are providing some subnet name. So what is the subnet name? Azure test subnet 1. So then we are providing some IP address for subnet as well. This is the same thing. And which location you are pointing to, East US. Okay. So this is a way how to create virtual network and subnet using CLI. So just paste it here. Click on enter. Here it is created basically. Okay, just it is created virtual, sorry, not virtual network and subnetwork. Okay, so whether it is created or not, even we can cross check it as well. Okay, where we can cross check it here, go to this resource to here Azure test. So here if you observe this Azure test, we already created Azure test by using GUI, right? And once again we have created some Azure test by using command prompt as well, I mean by using CLI, command line interface. So whenever if you're trying to execute this command, first of all, right, whenever if you're trying to execute this command, so first of all it is going to cross check whether already do have any resource group with Azure test or not. Okay, do you have any resource group with Azure test or not? If you are having, basically, right, it won't create. If you don't have, then only it is trying to create here. Okay, so already it is created some resource group with Azure test. Okay, go for virtual network. Here it is created new virtual network as Azure test hyphen vnet1, because we don't have Azure test hyphen vnet1 as a virtual network name within the Azure cloud. That is the reason it is created a new virtual network. So if it is already having, it won't create. So just whenever if you're trying to execute these commands or execute this piece of code, right? So it is going to cross check first of all within this Azure cloud. So whether do we have any resource group with Azure test or not, or do we have with virtual network with some name as Azure test hyphen vnet. So these things is going to cross check basically. So if we are having, it won't create. If it don't have, then only it is trying to create here basically. Okay. So is this point is fine, all of you? Any dots till now? So somebody is asking some doubt in previous thing. What is the doubt?
Yes, yes, clear. But we are writing commands in the command line interface, right?
Yes, bash shell.
A bash shell. So is it automated? I mean, can I save it that file in a bash file and run it automatically?
So that thing we'll discuss. So
Okay.
here, basically, if you observe, just I'm copy pasting each and every command in this uh, bash shell, right? Basically, right? So what you're saying is instead of that copy pasting each and every command, so why can't we execute these commands in a single file and why can't we try to execute that file? That is the thing you're
Yes,
expecting.
yes.
Yes, that thing we were going to achieve. Okay, fine. Any other doubt?
Okay, okay. Thanks.
So then, if you want to create a one more subnet, so and here if you go to VNets and go to subnet, and it is created Azure test subnet one, right? So that is the same name we have given here. If you observe here, Azure test subnet one, right? So now I want to create one more subnet within the same virtual network. Okay, so if you observe this command, so it is pointing to save VNet. So here Azure test VNet one is also Azure test VNet one. So within this VNet, I want to create a one more subnet, nothing but Azure test subnet 2. Okay, so copy this one, just paste it here. Click on enter. So it is created. So now go to this VNets and try to refresh it here. See here, Azure test subnet 2 is created. Okay. So if I want to create some network security group, this is the command basically. So only change is network one followed by some NSG. NSG stands for network security group. So here if you observe each and every command, whatever the command still now if we executed, so one thing is common. Okay. So resource group is common. Even it is common in GUI as well. So if you observe GUI, once you create some resource group, if you're trying to create some virtual network, right? Compulsory we need to select the resource group, right? And even virtual machine as well, basically. So same thing in these commands as well. So if you observe this virtual network, right? Here we have mentioned some Azure test. And now if you're going with some network security group, compulsory we need to mention this, what are the resource group which have created, what are the resource group name otherwise. Okay. So just I'm copy pasting, paste it here. So it is created. So now you can cross check this network security. Network, type in this Azure Cloud Search, go to network security groups. See here, it is created one network security group. Whether this is the same name, no, right? We have given some name as a Azure test NSC one. refresh it here, Azure test type and NSG1. What about this one? This is a default resource group. So whenever if you're trying to create one resource group, whenever if you're trying to create some network security group, right? So by default, it's going to create a default network security group as well, right? What is the default network security group name? Linux Mission 1 NSC.